In our last video, we hit the road from Eugene, Oregon up to Anacortes, Washington. 500 miles along the coast, all on a mission to make it to Anacortes Trawlerfest. Today, we pick up right where we left off in this charming little Pacific Northwest town. More exploring, many seminars, our first whale sighting ever, and of course, stepping aboard some epic boats. If this is your first time stumbling across our channel, welcome! We would be beyond grateful if you subscribed because it's free and it truly helps our growing channel out a ton. And while you're at it, you can binge our Great Loop episodes so you actually understand why two people who just finished the adventure of a lifetime are already out here hunting for their next boat. All right, let's get into it. Well, all that road tripping brought us here. Day one.
We are headed to Anacortes Marina.
No. That's definitely
the bunnies are here.
Not the name of it. We're headed to Anacortes Trawlerfest day one. The seminars are today. The boat show doesn't start for 2 more days. And the boat shows are at Seafair Memorial Park. And then the boat show is at Cap Santa Marina. So I don't think there's anything called Anacortes Marina.
Sounded good.
Oh my God, look at the cows! Look at the babies! Good morning! Good morning! Oh.
Our Airbnb is awesome.
Our Airbnb is so wonderful. It's kind of like a little studio apartment type feel, but it's on the 2nd floor of like a pole barn on this property.
Yeah, they finished it so well.
We walked in and Evan was like, this is so darling. We're very excited for today. We are going to a Pacific Northwest weather seminar, and then we are also going to a Inside Passage, Passage to Alaska session, which is really what we want to do next. We're gonna let the boat take us on our next adventure, but we really want to do that.
Yeah, the West Coast seems awesome.
We're loving it. We're absolutely loving it out here. So let's do it. Tell me what's going on here. Apparently we're locals for the week because Evan got a muffin card.
We have to pass this spot every day. They have over 200 flavors and they switch them at noon every day. So if you come back, they have different flavors in the afternoon. They also have wine, beer, a full deli, made to order bread in the afternoon. They didn't have their sourdough out yet because it's still making them. And yeah, it's great. I love this spot.
Where did you hear that this place has good muffins? We're leaving the Airbnb this morning, and Evan goes, "We're gonna stop at the store. They have good muffins." I'm like,
it's literally called the store. We
haven't been here for 12 hours, just about. And Evan's like, "Oh, this place has good muffins."
They got a good one.
So we got a blueberry muffin, and what do we get? Once we buy 12 muffins, we get 1 free.
Yeah.
So Evan got the muffin card. He goes, "We're buying everybody muffins." How is it?
Probably the best muffin I've ever had.
Actually?
Yeah, I'll buy it. What you have?
How about this for a seminar view?
Yeah, this is.
We just finished the Pacific Northwest weather with Captain Phyllis Woolwine, and it was really good information on more of the science behind high pressure, low pressure, thermal systems. A lot of it we were familiar with, but just understanding how this part of the country's weather operates, which is very different than anything we did on the loop. Fortunately and unfortunately, we have been getting the most beautiful weather while we've been here. I say fortunately because obviously it's very pleasant. I say unfortunately because everybody's saying this is not normal, and I'm curious, how it is majority of the time. I do think the rest of this week it's going to be rainy and a lot more chilly. So we'll get our full experience in, I think. It's gorgeous here. There's Evan. What do you think of that session?
That was nice. I mean, yeah, I need to get the geography of this area better.
Yeah.
Like, they just name drop these islands and straits. I have to remind myself where they are, and it was good. I mean, a lot of consistencies for what we've done already.
Yep.
So that's reassuring. But you definitely get a collision of weather patterns, high pressure, low pressure, and thermals. So that was a good reminder.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily as consistent as some of the other regions of the world where you can count on, 3 p.m. Of course, it's going to be blowing from the north. There are areas where it's very consistent, and Pacific Northwest is not that. So. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Because that means you get days like this.
We're looking at that boat tomorrow, getting a showing.
Wow, check it out. I'm stoked. There's 2 46s in this year.
I'm feeling like this one could be our future boat.
It looks so good.
We'll see. We will see.
Can't wait. 9:30 tomorrow. We had to do some pre-investigation, of course.
Well, I never shared anything from the Alaska session, but it was a really good one, wouldn't you say?
It was really good.
It was pretty, covered the basics, an overarching route up to Alaska.
It was mile wide, inch deep.
Yes.
It was not...
Touched on the high points, things to discover on your way up.
Next step would be taking those notes and overlaying them into a map.
Yeah.
Or a chart to, really paint the picture of what it'd look like. It's
right.
The Inside Passage is only, 700 to maybe 900 miles, depending on how much you venture off. So it's not this year-long commitment by any means.
Right. And you know what? Something I'm starting to really feel kind of strongly about is you shouldn't be going to these types of seminars, conferences, whatever, to be told every single thing you should do. You really should be doing your own research, making your own plans, discussing with your partner. And now we just finished a lovely dinner with our friend Jeff Merrill, Pam, his wife, her dad, and Max, one of his newest brokers on the team. We just love that guy. We love Jeff Merrill.
We do. I'm very grateful for that friendship and what it could blossom into as a mentor. It's really cool.
Yeah. So we just had some Mexican Taco Tuesday, and now I can see that Evan is not driving us home. He's driving us to the marina over here to take a look. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
The sun is setting, and we're going to leave you here for the night, but
we'll catch you in the morning.
In the morning, we are going to see a Nordhavn 46. That will be a separate video, but it's one we're really, really excited about. So stay tuned for that one. And we're going to continue with the Trawlerfest Anacortes vlog tomorrow. Day 2 of Trawlerfest.
Before we get our day started, we're going to go eat at one of the locals' recommendations. It's called Dad's Diner.
Yep, we are pumped. And
we got, guess what?
What?
We have a real weather for the Pacific Northwest today.
Yeah.
No sun.
Just a little brisk.
Honestly, kind of vibe with it.
But we're gonna go to Dad's Diner, and apparently they're known for their pan crepes. I love crepes, so let's go. Coffee hits a little bit more cozy this morning. After that killer breakfast, we ran into a couple we had previously met at one of the AGLCA rendezvous. It never fails to amaze me how small the boating community is, because after getting a tour of their brand new Nordic tug, we were then able to hop aboard MV Beyond, a Nordhavn 55 that we've been in contact with through Instagram. Of course, right as we were about to leave, Evan's hat decided it wanted to go for a swim. But luckily, Adrian and Dennis had their inflatable kayak ready to go for the rescue mission.
Put my thrusters on.
What do you think, Tank? Well, this is a huge selling point for one of these kayaks. Just a quick little drop in the water.
Water's cold.
Just as Evan pulled back to the dock, a curious little seal popped up to see what all the fuss was about. Thanks for the help, buddy. You were about 5 minutes too late. The rain has come. How you feeling?
Great.
Evan kind of likes it.
Got my raincoat on. Apparently people out here don't use umbrellas.
Now we are going to one of Jeff Merrill's sessions. It's called Trawler Transactions.
And doing the deal.
Doing the deal. So we had a great dinner with Jeff last night, as mentioned, but just interested to hear if there's any more little tidbits of information in this seminar. So off we go as the rain comes down. Going on today?
It's almost 10 o'clock. The show's gonna open for the first time this week through Saturday. And we're gonna try and beat some of the crowd. So we're here bright and early. We already said hi to Devin at Nordhavn. We're gonna go say hi to Jeff, JMYS, and then get on the docks. It's chilly, brisk, but it's exactly what we wanted. Breaking in the gear.
We're gonna be those annoying people getting on the boat right as the show starts because we wanna get on a Nordhavn 43 and they have 2 in the show this year.
Hole 1 and hole 17.
Yes, and the Nordhavn 43 is what we think would be our perfect next boat, but it's just 100% not in the budget. So we just are gonna go and dream, and maybe in the future.
We've never been on one.
Right.
We've been on 55s, we've been on a 50, been on 40s, 46s.
So we think it'd be like our perfect
I'm
next
pretty
boat.
stoked to get on it, and there's
But,
2 here.
But actually the biggest reason we want to see it is because of the midship layout. And some people might think we're being silly talking about that, like making it such a big deal, but we really think we would like it. So That's what we want to check out.
But now we're just strolling the docks, one of my favorite things to do. And it's cool, look at traps. It's great.
Traps.
Those are
Fishing
prawn.
poles, nets.
They're prawn traps,
Yes, prawn traps.
which
And
look like shrimp.
Actually, you know what? If somebody wants to explain this to us in the comments, we're having a really hard time understanding this. We understand, or at least we Googled, that prawns reside in freshwater and shrimp are in saltwater. Everybody's catching prawns up here. So do they survive in the lower salinity water when the upper streams meet the ocean of the Pacific? Like, I don't understand where the fresh water is because these boats can't get into separate lakes. I understand a separate lake would be freshwater, but we're not really understanding
I think it's pretty
the
brackish.
separation of freshwater and saltwater.
There are 15 Nordhavns in this marina, which is so sick. Here's one that's not in the show, but it's a 35. You don't see very many of them, but we got to anchor next to one on the loop over by Drummond Island. So here it is. Cool boat. This is definitely like kid in a candy store. Here's another Krogan. Beautiful. No fenders. Pretty ballsy.
Oh, they're right there.
Cool boat. A lot of Aspen Power Cats. This is just where a lot of those companies are based out of.
It's just,
and it's cool to see.
it's cool to be here where it's like trawler central. Like, you have
there's no
some
big
sailboats.
motor yachts.
No, there's none of these crazy yachts. It's
People
true
using them.
trawlers.
Yeah, sick. American Tug, Nordic Tug, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was pretty cool being able to get on back-to-back 43s and then comparing the two. As of the published date of this episode, both Brimmer and Movin' On are still for sale at the same listing price of $725,000. While there are a few differences between the two, you'll see there are even more similarities. Brimmer is carpeted, while Movin' On is teak and holly flooring. The pilot houses are identical layouts, but have some different finishes like the table you see here. Movin' On has both passive and active stabilization, while Brimmer only has the active fins. The forward cabin on Brimmer has 3 berths, while moving on has only one, but with a desk on the starboard side. We didn't dive too deep into either engine room, but they are spec'd out to be almost identical with Lugger engines, Yanmar wing engines, and Northern Lights generators. I will say we walked away pretty impressed with how well kept Moving On seemed to be, considering it is hull number 1. While out of our budget, it's always fun getting on different boats, and if you're wondering, yes, we do still love the idea of that midship bedroom. After popping in and out of some more vessels, we actually recorded a podcast for Passage Maker's Trawler Talk. I have it linked in the description below if you want to check that out. We recorded a podcast with Jeff Mosier of Passage Maker magazine, and he invited us on the VIP cocktail cruise tonight. So we're headed there, got the big camera with us, hopefully can get some cool shots there, maybe see some whales. I don't know how far out the cruise is going, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, if we see whales, that is just icing on the cake. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so taking you along with.
We are cooking, doing 20 knots right now.
We got a little bit of swell.
A little bit.
Like, you can just feel it.
Nice little roll.
Yeah. The crew was aware of a gray whale that's been hanging out near Lopez Pass, and their knowledge was spot on as we inched our way closer to Lopez Island. We learned that this gray whale was probably spending its final days this far north, as they are known to undertake one of the longest annual migrations of any mammal. They move south from October to January for mating, and return north from February to May to feed, hugging the Pacific coast. While I did learn a bit about whales, I mostly learned my next investment will need to be a larger zoom lens.
Oh, look at that.
I'm not gonna tell. You're ready for it. You're ready for it.
That's right.
Our week at Trawlerfest wrapped up with us speaking on a panel alongside fellow cruisers and industry experts, an invitation we truly felt honored to receive. We also hosted our own seminar titled Don't Wait for Someday, encouraging attendees to take everything they'd learned that week and actually put it into action. We couldn't have asked for a better week in Anacortes, and we left feeling completely inspired to continue on with our boat search. This way of life has captured us like no other passion ever has, for either of us. We're so thankful you're joining us for the ride. Until the next episode, we love you. Bye.